I'd like to ask both of you if you think abortion is racist. Jared, you're first.
No.
But do you think that Margaret Sanger's agenda when she started Planned Parenthood was to reduce the black population because they are a scourge on society and we should have more abortions because abortions tend to be black?
There are quotations to that effect. I never met Margaret Sanger, but some of the things that are attributed to her do suggest that she wanted fewer black people living in the United States.
So do you agree with her?
Do I agree with her? I think that people are happier when they're among people like themselves. I think forced integration is wrong. I think it was a big mistake to bring black people here against their will. But no, I'm certainly not talking about sending anybody out of the country.
And would you encourage black abortions?
I think anybody who wants an abortion should have an abortion. I'm not encouraging any particular kind of abortion.
Are you pro-choice?
Yes, I think if well, sorry to disappoint you. I see both sides of that picture. I know that some people think that abortion is murder, and I sympathize with that view, but I think on balance, children should come into the world that are wanted by both parents, by two parents, in fact, not just one parent. And I think that abortion on balance prevents unwanted children from coming into the world, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay, all right. Do you think abortion is racist?
I think some of the abortion programs are racist. Yeah, I do. I think that Margaret, like I said, the whole basis of Margaret Sanger was to pull blacks and Jews out like weeds and take the people from poverty and not let them breed. And I do believe that. Yeah.
Margaret Sanger's been dead for decades. Who are you suggesting is promoting abortion just to kill black babies?
She's been dead. She's been dead for decades. But her whole structure lives on and is financed by the government by $500 million a year.
Who wants to promote abortion as a way to get rid of black babies? Name me a name.
I've definitely heard this amongst my liberal friends where they talk about how the crime rate, and this was a big thing in Freakonomics. I think it was a mistake in Freakonomics, but they claim that the crime rate plummeted after Roe versus Wade, about 18 years after Roe versus Wade. And my experience with the left has been that abortion has been good for crime. And the sort of subtext there is that it means less unwanted black babies, and they're inferring that crime is basically the children of single mothers.
There could be something to that, but don't forget there have been plenty of white babies aborted too. I think that children who come into the world that are unwanted, children with only one parent and one parent that ignores or abuses them, I think chances are they're going to turn out worse than people who are wanted and loved by two parents.
Yeah, 40% of the abortions are from the black community, though. And
well, nobody puts a gun to their head and says, get an abortion. That's their idea.
Yeah, well, that is what...
Who forces them to have an abortion?
Nobody forces them to have abortions, no.
Okay, very good. So how come abortion is racist?
Because it's a power structure that's being promoted to, hey, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, and it's put in place, and it's 15-year-old girls, 18-year-old girls, 20-year-old girls, boom, boom, abortion, and they promote the hell out of it.
Jared, just in RA's defense here, in the I believe it was the 60s, in New York, there was a program encouraging Puerto Rican women to have their tubes tied and be permanently infertile. And
maybe so.
It was a choice. It was a choice thing, but there was some heavy propaganda behind it, and the indication was, look, you guys are too expensive with welfare. Let's stop you from having kids. And I think Puerto Ricans really resent New York to this day because they found out about that.
Well, I never heard of that program, but I think that if you are living on the public dole, you have got absolutely no right to bring yet more mouths into the world for the rest of us to have to feed and clothe and try to educate.
Why not?
Why not?
Yes.
I mean, if you were supporting some layabout brother of yours, you were paying his apartment, you were paying for his rent, you were paying for his groceries.
My brother into this. My brother's a hardworking guy.
Okay, let's imagine that you're doing this, and he comes to you and says, "Hey, the girlfriend's pregnant. you're gonna have to start paying more money. We need a bigger apartment to live in." Would you be happy?
So
even your own flesh and blood.
So wait, your answer would be, but your answer
has a high voice.
Your answer would be to just kill the kid.
No, well, I mean, it's called abortion, and it's legal in all 50 states.
Yeah, but I'm saying that would be a thing. Oh, because they don't have the financial situation at the moment, they don't deserve the right to have a child.
The point is, if you are sucking on the public teat, I don't think you have the right to produce more mouths that are going to be sucking on the same public teat.
Some of the greatest, some of the greatest human beings in the history of time have come from poverty and worked out of from being broke and coming from nothing, and they ended up being great people in history and great leaders. Now, if you go, well, we shouldn't have let them be born because maybe we have to pay for something and this and that. Then that's disgusting.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's drop abortion.
It's not a good point at all.
It's a great
By that
point.
argument, we should be encouraging all of the poorest possible people to have the most number of children, because 1 out of a million might be a
Not
Mozart.
1 out of a million.
That's crazy.
No one's saying you should all have babies because when the one guy is great. No, that's not what anybody's saying. It's saying that
That's exactly what you were saying.
you know how many disgusting billionaire children are miserable, living off of what's wrong with that argument? They're miserable, they're unhappy, and why do they have the reason to have a life more than somebody that came from nothing, from the bottom, that learned to work his way from the top? Why should a rich billionaire child have the right to live when a poor kid doesn't? Because the father's struggling?
Because his parents were not living on the public dole. That's why.
So what does that mean?
What's that mean? That means you aren't making a living. That means other people are having to make a living for you. If other people are having to make a living for you, I think you have certain responsibilities. And one of those things is not to recklessly reproduce. If you can't afford to even support yourself, you're certainly not going to support a child. I think such people have absolutely no business having children. It used to be people didn't get married until they could afford to have children. That was a sense of responsibility towards society. This attitude that you're describing is nothing short of theft.
No, it's not short of theft. What it is, it's called life. And some of the greatest people in history came from poverty.
Okay,
so when you want to murder, when you want to murder poor people, just don't let they should it's the worst thing because they're going to be living off of us. Don't let poor people be born because maybe 1 in a million is going to be a success. It's not 1 out of a million, by the way.
Right, I'm murdering poor people.
Let's not get off on an abortion tangent here. We're here to talk about racism.